The Philippine Navy is entering a period of accelerated transformation, and the new HDC-3100 Block 2 Corvette program stands at the center of this shift. Tensions at Second Thomas Shoal, Scarborough Shoal, and across the broader West Philippine Sea have pushed Manila to recognize that deterrence is no longer an abstract objective. It requires platforms that can absorb information from many sensors, fight in a networked environment, and survive in a contested maritime battlespace dominated by electronic warfare, precision missiles, and constant gray zone pressure from China. The HDC-3100 Block 1 ships already marked a generational leap for the Philippines. The upcoming Block 2 variant builds on that progress and moves the fleet closer to a standard that aligns with the broader network of United States, Japanese, and South Korean forces operating around the Luzon Strait and the First Island chain. The foundation of the Block 2 upgrade lies in its sensors and combat systems. The ship is expected to field a more advanced active electronically scanned array radar, capable of detecting fast, low-altitude threats that are common in the modern missile environment. The combat management system is projected to support Link 16 and potentially Link 22, opening the door for direct data sharing with United States surface combatants, Japanese maritime patrol aircraft, and South Korean task groups. A Corvette that can plug into this ecosystem is no longer just a patrol ship, but a forward node in a regional sensor web. Below the surface, the combination of a hull-mounted sonar and a towed array offers Manila something it has lacked for decades: the ability to maintain a persistent anti-submarine barrier around Palawan, Mindoro, and the deep waters leading into the South China Sea. Submarine activity from regional powers has increased, and the Philippines cannot afford to operate blind in waters that shape its economic and strategic future. The offensive and defensive weapons planned for the Block 2 variant make the ship especially significant in Southeast Asia. Manila is expected to fit 16 vertical launch system cells capable of carrying medium-range surface-to-air missiles such as the Mika Next Generation or a comparable South Korean solution. This is unusual for a Corvette in the region. Most Southeast Asian navies rely on point defense missiles or short-range systems that cannot protect an entire formation. The Philippines would gain a limited but meaningful area defense capability that could shield other ships, aircraft, or even ground assets operating nearby. Anti-ship missiles from South Korea or Israel, combined with a modern 76mm gun and defensive close-in weapon systems, give the Corvette a balanced ability to strike, survive, and stay in the fight. Survivability is another area where the design shows a decisive break from older Philippine vessels. The Block 2's shaping reduces radar reflection, and the likely inclusion of a modern electronic warfare suite and decoy launchers signals a Navy preparing to operate under real threat, not symbolic presence missions. The expected ability to host small, unmanned aerial vehicles or a light helicopter brings an additional layer of reconnaissance and targeting flexibility, essential for a fleet that must compensate for limited airborne early warning assets. The question of whether this will become the strongest Corvette class in Southeast Asia is not an exaggeration, but a reflection of comparative capability. Many ships in neighboring navies have individual strengths, but few integrate the full sensor weapon network package that the Philippines is assembling. Malaysia remains tied to older systems and delays in its MECO A100 upgrades. Indonesia is focused on larger projects such as the FREM and the Sigma frigates, but its budget and industrial load slow progress. Vietnam fields powerful Gepard-class vessels, yet these lack vertical launch system-based medium-range air defense. Singapore remains the most advanced naval power in the region, but its focus is on larger frigates and multi-mission ships rather than a Corvette-centric force. In this environment, the HDC-3100 Block 2 becomes not only competitive but potentially dominant in its class. Strategically, the program aligns the Philippines with a trilateral architecture involving the United States, South Korea, and Japan. South Korea provides the platform and technical pathway. The United States, through data links and operational integration, offers the network backbone. Japan supports the wider intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance picture with long-range radar systems across northern Luzon. When a Block 2 corvette receives targeting data from a Japanese radar, shares that information via a United States-compatible link, and engages threats with South Korean or European missiles, Manila becomes part of a distributed defense web. China remains the underlying factor driving this adaptation. The Philippines does not frame the program publicly as a counter to Beijing, but the operational reality leaves little doubt. The ability to form task groups near Palawan, to patrol the waters around Second Thomas Shoal with credible protection, and to integrate into Allied operations in the Luzon Strait, all increase the risks for any actor seeking to impose coercion on Manila. The broader impact on Southeast Asian naval dynamics will be significant. For decades, the Philippines has been one of the least modernized fleets in the region, forced to operate aging platforms with minimal combat capability. The jump from that baseline to a fleet equipped with advanced radars, modern anti-submarine systems, and medium-range vertical launch system-based air defense will alter regional perceptions. Manila is signaling that it is no longer content with symbolic upgrades. It is pursuing a fleet designed to operate in contested blue water and gray zone environments, not just coastal patrols. For China, the presence of a better armed and better networked Philippine corvette fleet complicates the calculus of escalation. For partners, it makes Manila a more credible contributor to shared maritime security. Looking ahead to the period from 2025 to 2030, Manila is likely to seek between 4 and 6 HDC-3100 units. The creation of a dedicated corvette mini-fleet would allow the Philippines to maintain continuous presence in multiple hotspots without overstretching individual ships. Future upgrades could include longer-range anti-ship missiles, improved vertical launch system loadouts, and deeper integration with unmanned systems. The experience gained from Block 2 could also push Manila toward a future frigate program, potentially based on the South Korean HDF-3500 or a hybrid Japanese-South Korean design. The arrival of the HDC-3100 Block 2 marks more than a platform upgrade. It represents a shift in naval doctrine. The Philippines is moving from a lightly armed constabulary fleet to a corvette-centric navy capable of real deterrence. The ability to gather and share information, defend itself against modern threats, and operate within a coalition network changes the narrative around Philippine maritime power. For a country located at the junction of the South China Sea and the Luzon Strait, this transformation is overdue and strategically essential. If Manila sustains funding, training, and logistics over the coming decade, the HDC-3100 Block 2 will be remembered as the class that redefined the Philippine Navy's position in Southeast Asia.